3 days. Trent Richardson, Calvin Ridley, Vinny Sunseri, days away until Alabama, Utah State, Bryant-Denny Stadium in Tuscaloosa, 6:30 p.m. Central Time kickoff, the season opener for your Crimson Tide. Getting down to business right here. You're rocking and rolling. Hottest show on the streets, #1 form for your Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine on a Wednesday hump day. Happy to have you all in here. We're bringing you the show from the magic city of Birmingham. We're streaming this to you on YouTube. And speaking of a channel, hit subscribe right now. You know what to do. You want nothing but Bama? You want nonstop Tide? Smash that subscribe button. Get every friend, every family member, every diehard Bama fan, every casual Bama fan to subscribe as well. Because if you are enjoying the content, they will also. Be sure to run those likes up as well. Give us that thumbs up. Run those likes past the moon. Make this your show, your network platform, channel, and space to talk Bama. Turn all of those notifications on. Hit that little bell so that way you miss absolutely nothing when it comes to your Crimson Tide program. We also got you covered on Facebook and Twitter, streaming to you the show. We got a great one tonight, baby. 3 days away from your Crimson Tide opening the 2022 season, this season, against Utah State. You got the LED lighting feature about to happen inside Bryant-Denny Stadium. So much energy going into this weekend, the Labor Day weekend. We want you guys being a part of the show. You can do this by calling 205-448-1358. Number to call in to let your voice be heard, 205-448-1358. And one more time, 205-448-1358. We definitely want to hear from you. Don't let tonight leave you without making your voice heard on this show, talking your Crimson Tide. The Daily Super Chat Go, $75. Daily Super Chat Go. We got El Presidente Wayland in the building with that $1.99 in the Super Chats. Throwing that love in the hat there. Appreciate the love there from Wayland. Dance and Steven has that appreciation also for that Super Chat as well. But we getting it out. First topic of conversation, folks, and Coach Saban talked about that today in the SEC Coaches Teleconference. He's excited about 3 freshmen that will start, getting the opportunity to start the season opener against Utah State, in discussing Jaheim Otis on the defensive line, Kobe Prentice at wide receiver, Terrion Arnold, even though Terrion is a redshirt freshman, Terrion Arnold at cornerback. All 3 guys getting the nod here to start or get that first look Saturday's matchup against Utah State in the big bright lights of Bryant-Denny Stadium, the LED lighting feature. And this is going to be fun right here. And Saban mentioned that he wants to see how these 3 individuals play, when the fur is flying, when the ball is flying, and the first game where all eyes are on you, right? All the attention is put on you. And all 3 of these young men, Prentice, Otis, and Arnold, they were all big-time players in high school. Prentice was at Calera High School, speedy, marquee receiver. Arnold was at high school down there in Tallahassee, Florida. Big-time defensive back, former 5-star in the 2021 class. And then Jaheim Otis was a massive mammoth of a man at Columbia High School in Mississippi, 4-star defensive lineman to his own credit. So all 3 guys, Friday Night Lights, they loved it. Friday Night Lights, they relished it. They cherished that right there. But now the lights are turned up even bigger. They're turned up even brighter when you look at college football. And at the mecca of college football, that being the University of Alabama, just means a whole lot more when you play in front of 100,000 fans in Tuscaloosa. So all 3 guys, are they ready for this type of statement? Are they ready for this type of attention? Are they ready for this type of magnitude? We'll figure this out here on Saturday. And first and foremost, Jaheim Otis, is this the next All-American nose tackle? Is this the next All-American powerful force in the middle of the Alabama defense? Because Bama's had some forces in years past under Nick Saban. It's had 3 All-Americans in years past, including 1 unanimous All-American. You look at Terrence Cody, who was a consensus All-American. You have Traeshon Robinson, a consensus All-American in the middle. Quinnen Williams, 2018, a unanimous All-American in the middle. You look at guys like Marcel Darius, Jesse Williams, Christian Barmore, Deron Payne. Now, all those guys were freaks in the middle of the Alabama defense. Huge guys that refused to be blocked, that refused to be neutralized, would knife their way in the backfield, create a whole lot of havoc, create a whole lot of pain for offensive linemen, quarterbacks, running backs. But not just that, they opened opportunities for defensive ends, for inside linebackers, and for outside linebackers to just wreck shop. And here comes Otis, who has received praise from everybody, from the head coach, Nick Saban, to the janitor. Everybody's been talking Jaheim Otis, and for great reasons. Now this is his moment, game 1, out the gate, to show he's the next potential All-American nose tackle, All-American force up front for Alabama. When you look at Traeshon Arnold, is this the shutdown corner that U.S. fans have been waiting for? He could be. He surged through the entire fall camp. Each practice got better, played well in both scrimmages, running with the first-team offense. When you go back to look at the high school tape, I mean, the tools are there. Plays a lot like Eddie Jackson coming out of high school. The tools are there. The talent is there. Was a safety in high school, was flipped to corner at Alabama. Really had a good spring. Had a great summer. Had a strong fall. And not all of it does to speak to the work ethic of Traeshon Arnold being the first corner to get a look there as a starter against Utah State, but it speaks to the coaching of Travaris Robinson. Normally, when you have a guy come in as a transfer like an Eli Ricks from LSU, you automatically think, he's day 1 starter, point blank period, right? Normally, when you have a JUCO guy like Kyrie Jackson at 6'3", who got experience last year, a lot of people think, okay, Kyrie Jackson, day 1 starter, point blank period. But the rise of Traeshon Arnold not only speaks to his growth, his work ethic, his poise, his want to be great, but it speaks to the dynamic that Travaris Robinson has brought in here, played the game at Auburn as a defensive back, has coached the game at Auburn, at South Carolina, at Florida, that footprint in the SEC, and the way that Coach Robinson has gone about mentoring Arnold, it has shifted him or propelled him for this opportunity. Alabama had a shutdown corner in Patrick Surtain in 2020. It's had shutdown corners in recent history when you look at guys like Trey Kirkpatrick, guys like D. Milner, Marlon Humphrey grew to be a shutdown corner. Cyrus Jones grew to be, pretty good corner there in his own right. But is Traeshon Arnold the takeaway a whole side of the field type of defensive back that U.S. fans have been waiting for, have been looking on here? We're going to get a chance to see that on Saturday as he gets that first look. And then last but not least here, Kobe Prentice. Is this the next star at wide receiver? We've seen a lot of freshmen come through this program at receiver and grew to be superstars. Julio Jones, 2008. Amari Cooper, 2012. Calvin Ridley, 2015. The trio of Jerry Jeudy, Devontae Smith, Henry Ruggs all came in 2017 and all became stars. Jalen Waddle, 2018. We've seen this before. But is Kobe Prentice next? 2 scrimmages back-to-back, combined 8 catches, one for a touchdown. Nick Saban, very pleased with Kobe Prentice and how he played all fall camp long. Teammates around Prentice have talked about his confidence, his work ethic, his upbeat attitude, his routes, his hands, his competitiveness, and how he wants to be on the field with that ball in his hands. Mike McCoy, former Alabama receiver, 2009 national champion, founder of Maximum Performance Training in Bessemer, has talked about this guy has that dog mentality. He's got special traits, special character, special abilities about himself. But is Kobe Prentice the next star, the next superstar? When the bullets are flying, when that pigskin is going all over the field, when the fur is flying, according to Coach Saban, is this guy ready to pay the toll? We're about to see this here on Saturday under the biggest and brightest lights of college football, Bryant-Denny Stadium. Looking forward to seeing Otis, Prentice, and Terrion Arnold take the field and show the world who they are, what they are, and what they can bring to Crimson Tide football. Folks, get ready. It's about to happen here in 3 days. We take our first break here on the show. Don't touch that dial. Just getting started. Upon our return, we dive into your phone calls. We take your calls, your thoughts, your conversations. We are 3 days until Bama football. How pumped are you? We get to you guys after this.
You're watching In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith, brought to you by We Own the Fourth Quarter. Get your 4-finger bling necklace today by visiting weownthefourthquarter.com. Throw them foes up.
This is Matt Caddell, former Alabama wide receiver, and you're listening to In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith with Touchdown Alabama Magazine. And I got 2 words to say, baby. Roll Tide.
9 players have teamed up and released the Alabama Team Paper, which is a video yearbook they've put out for sale direct to fans. Now, for the first time, small dollar purchases from the fans can support the players as a group as well as a great cause, because $1 of every subscription payment is donated to the Boys and Girls Club of America. Be a 5-star fan base and support your team and a great cause with Team Paper. Check it out at teampaper.com/Alabama.
Remember the taste of Grandma's delicious sweets? Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes brings back those precious memories with just one bite. Each cake made from scratch. They make the perfect dessert to share with family and friends for any occasion, and ordering is easy. Visit emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Click the online store and shop. Then pick up your fresh cake at the kitchen in downtown Homewood. Order yours online at emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes, making memories from scratch.
Folks, as we're back in to the action from the break, hottest show on the streets here on a Wednesday, In My Own Words, yours truly, Stephen Smith, Touchdown Alabama Magazine. You know what? You gotta love my man dancing, Stephen. He moves to the beat of his own drum. So much so that he danced so hard his head fell off, and unfortunately the khaki pants on him ripped. He's not working today, but he'll be back soon. Dancing Stephen will be back soon. Just got a little bit too much action today. Or a little bit too much action the days leading up to today. But we go to the phone lines right now to grab your calls. The call segment is brought to you by the Blue Ridge Gang, 205-448-1358. Number to call in, 205-448-1358. We grab this call here. You're live on the show. What's going on? How are you feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Stephen, I was worried there. You know, you was dancing without a head and then your pants ripped. I thought I was on First Take. It was Vince Mad Dog Russo talking again there. I'll tell you what, we're going to have to go to First Take and have a little talk with Stephen A. and Mad Dog. I'm worried about Mad Dog. Ara Parseghian, the greatest college football coach in history. Man, he's drinking something, and something's in the water there every morning. I'll tell you what. What's happening in Birmingham, man? Tell me something good.
Well, we're getting ready for the first game of the season, my man, on Saturday, 3 days away. Bama taking on Utah State. Coach Saban having that first big press conference of the season on this evening. He brought up some very intriguing things, but I'm looking forward to this game. First time that since 2011, where you have a game to open the year at Bryant-Denny Stadium. It's a night game. You're going to have the LED lighting feature. The students should pack this place out. I'm looking forward to this weekend, Waylon.
Yeah, I'm glad we're not running all over the country trying to, get everybody to Dallas or Georgia or somewhere else. We're going to play this first game at Bryant-Denny where it should be played at night. So that place should be rocking and rolling. There's no doubt about it. All right, everyone, y'all looking good. Blue Ridge Gang. Y'all make this show the hottest show on the street, hottest show on YouTube, hottest show in the country. I tell you what, y'all burn this place up. I smell rubber burning now. Y'all be safe. I'll be back on Friday, good Lord willing. Let's get this football weekend kicked off. Bye-bye, everyone.
Appreciate Waylon getting us started here on a Wednesday. The president in the building right there. But we grab this call. You're live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling? State your name and where you're calling from.
Stephen M., it's your boy, man. Senator Hines, a.k.a. Coach Swoop, man. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. It's Phoenix City looking real nice today. It's feeling like fall football. I got to see some high school football last weekend in the local area. And bro, when I say I'm so ready for Saturday, it's like I feel like I'm getting locked in for Saturday. Like I'm about to play. Like I'm about to suit up, Stephen, or I'm about to be on the sideline with my head say, it's been a year since I've been out of coaching high school football. So anytime I get a chance to talk with like-minded people or football-minded people, I enjoy it, man. And but Stephen, two quick topics I want to address. I see a lot of people giving Henry To'oTo'o a lot of slack, and I'm saying that so when I get to my point, y'all can understand. In the past, Reuben Foster, Dylan Moses, before he had his downfall, his low year or whatever, before he had his big injury. Who are some of Mac, freaking, who else? Rolando McClain, all the great middle linebackers that we see come through Bama. Each one of those guys that were All-Americans, first rounders, top end, second round picks, they had a dominant defensive in front of them. And I'm talking not no too deep. I'm not talking about two guys in front of you that could wreak havoc. I'm talking about a good 6 or 7 guys that were rotating in front of you that no matter who was in the game, you didn't see a change. At Alabama, we haven't been fortunate enough to have that for the past 2 seasons. And if you think about it, we have a new defensive coordinator. We had a lot of staff changes. We haven't really seen a dominant defensive line as a group, as a whole, since Quentin Williams left. If we've been honest, DJ Dell and them made a lot of noise when they came in, they freshman year and all that, but nobody's been able to stay healthy. And so we can't put it all on To'oTo'o because at Tennessee, To'oTo'o had a real nice defensive front in front of him. Part of his reason for leaving Tennessee and transferring to Alabama is because everybody on the defensive front that made the impact and opened it up for him left. They went draft or they transferred. So he made a business decision. Where can I go that developed the best defensive lineman? This man came straight to Alabama. He couldn't go to Georgia because they linebacker room was too deep. So, of course, he going to come to Bama. Or he could have went to Kentucky, but Kentucky not going to compete at a level to where he going to get recognized, So he came to Bama and he made a business decision. And the boy is smart enough. The young man is smart enough to earn a starting position the first year he transfers. So for Saban to entrust him or Pete Golding entrust him to be that signal caller in his first year as a transfer, yeah, he came from a system that was similar to ours, but it's not our system. No coach takes a system to another school and does exactly the same thing. You want to know why? Because especially if you're in the same league as Pruitt is with Saban, you don't do that. Because then guess what? Saban say, oh, I remember that. Hey, OC, Bill, whenever you see this check on the field, when you see these guys doing this check, let's flip it to this. Tell Bryce we're going to flip it to this. Every time we see this check, we're going to flip it to this. That's why we can't say, okay, To'oTo'o was in the system. Similarities, yes. But as far as play calling and making checks, it's a different. There's different levels and different schemes and schematics that go into it. So we have to consider that. I honestly believe To'oTo'o is going to be knocking heads because I remember when he played at Tennessee, he was a head, not a head buster, but he would put a hat on people consistently. You don't get 110 tackles in the season just dragging people down. You hit people. You're making good form tackling. And sometimes that's what we need. We need good form tackling. And I love a big hit every now and then. Kendra Blackstar going to get his shot. He's going to have time to grow and make mistakes. But To'oTo'o, I believe he's going to prove a lot of us wrong. I didn't like him last year. I wasn't too fond on him, but after I step back and I look at it towards the end of the season, the boy was on point. The last 4 games of the season, he was on point. So let's just consider that, y'all. And this defensive line is really going to open it up for him. Y'all will see Saturday. We're going to dominate, man. Roll Tide, Steven. That's the only point I wanted to make tonight. Appreciate y'all. Shout out Blue Ridge Gang. Roll Tide, everybody. Your boy Coach Smook is out.
Appreciate Senator Hines taking us in here on a Wednesday. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen M. Smith, 205-448-1358. Number to call in, 205-448-1358. We grab this call. You're live on the show. What's going on? How are we feeling? State your name and where you calling from?
Hey, Stephen, this is Michael from Columbus, South Carolina. How you doing?
Doing great, Michael, and yourself?
Good. I got a couple things I want to talk about, but before I say that, Stephen, are you ready? I mean, it's about damn time we finally get college football. I've been waiting for so long, man, so long. Are you ready?
If I was any more ready, Michael, I would probably be somewhere in a straitjacket. That's how ready I am.
But a couple things I wanted to talk about. One, I've heard, and I don't know if this is true or not, but if it is true, I've been hearing a lot of talks about Traeshon Holden being the next Julio Jones.
I don't know about the next Julio Jones, but Traeshon Holden is starting this year, and I'm happy about that because it's about time for him. He came in 2020, 4-star, 6'3", a ton of ability, had to kind of learn some things, but finally, Traeshon has got it together to where he's earned that trust from Nick Saban to start. So he is starting this season.
And 2 more things. One, is it true that they're planning on putting Chris Broswell, William Anderson, and Dallas Turner on the field together?
That is true, Michael. There is a package. Will Anderson hinted to it himself. Pete Golding hinted to it. To start fall camp, there is a package where all 3 will be on the field at the same time. Now, will they all be lined up together on the same side? That will be interesting. That will be determined. But there is a package created where all 3, Anderson, Turner, and Braswell, will be on the field at the same time.
And then lastly, this was kind of came as a surprise to me when I did see the Alabama depth chart. What made Nick Saban decide that Terrion Arnold was ready to take that starting job? I definitely thought that maybe Kool-Aid McKinstry would get it. I definitely thought that maybe it would go to Eli Rich. Maybe it would go to maybe Quest Robinson or someone like that. You know, what really made Nick Saban decided that it was time for Terrion Arnold to take that starting position?
Well, Michael, Kool-Aid McKinstry will start at one of 2 corner spots, but the other spot, the reason why it's Terrion Arnold, because of the way this young man's played all fall camp. People forget Arnold was a 5-star when he came in 2021. He wasn't no fly-by-night player. This guy earned his coming out of high school. This guy is highly instinctive, highly intelligent, can play the ball, can play the receiver, just really, really strong. And on top of that, I think this also speaks to the coaching of Travaris Robinson, going back to when you bring in a guy to coach that has played in the SEC, he's coached in the SEC, he's experienced in this conference, he's highly respected. Travaris Robinson has really sort of mentored Terrion Arnold and put him in a position to be a starter. So it's Arnold's work ethic and his surge, but then also the great job that Travaris Robinson has done coaching him up. But appreciate Michael there for that call from South Carolina. We grabbed this call here. You're live on the show, baby. What's going on? What's happening? State your name and where you calling from.
What's going on, Steve? Elijah from Jersey. How you feeling, man?
Doing great, Elijah, and yourself?
I'm hanging in there. Man, I had one, a question about this depth chart. Now, last year, everybody, has said that Coach Marone, he messed up on the offensive line, put the wrong players in, and that's understandable. All the way up until the Auburn game, we seen Dalcourt in that center. Now, I can understand if Seth McLaughlin, if this kid came in and he was struggling, or it took him, or he came in and it was against Duke and he showed out. You know, I could understand people not giving him the nod at center, because it's just like if he came in and played against Utah State really good. Who is Utah State? You know, their best player is probably going to be a lawyer, you know, something like that. And no NFL nowhere in sight for a lot of those kids. But my thing is, Seth McLaughlin came in and dominated against Auburn, turned right back around and dominated against Georgia, okay? Then turned around and dominated against Cincinnati. Those are some of the best defensive teams in college football, man. And for me, I don't see how this man did not go into the spring or the summer as the start in center. I mean, could he have gotten beaten out by Dalcourt? Very, very possible. But, Steve, from what I seen last year from Dalcourt, and then what I seen from Seth McLaughlin, it wasn't no warm-up. This kid came in and solidified the center position. He held down the center of that offensive line against some of the best, actually the best defense in college football. So my thing is this: how doesn't this kid get the nod? I'm pretty sure he knows it himself. Yo, I came in, I dominated on the offensive line against some of the league's best. Now all of a sudden, he back to riding the bench. How is this possible, Steve? Like, what we seen from Dalcourt last year, don't get me wrong. To me, Dalcourt, only thing he got on this guy is the size. Dalcourt is a bigger guy. But we all know the biggest dog in the fight don't always win the fight. You know? So my thing is, what do you think went into this kid going back to the bench after he showed us, you know, he's a championship-style center. Might not be with size, but definitely with heart. What do you think went into that decision, Steve, with putting this kid back on the bench and having Dalcourt start that? He didn't look all that impressive all last year.
That, Elijah, was one of the questions that I had myself, because as talented as Dalcourt is, because he came as a 4-star in 2019, the issue with Dalcourt has always been the snaps. Getting the snaps consistently right up to the quarterback. There were moments where Dalcourt snapped it over Bryce Young's head. He would snap it toward the ground, toward Bryce's feet. Like the snaps would not be consistent. And that's always been my one kind of worry with him. Seth McLaughlin, to me, is the most technically sound, the most technically savvy center, you know, at that spot and at that role. And if he was about 20 pounds heavier, he would basically be like a Landon Dickerson out there, in my opinion, because even though he may be the smallest of the offensive linemen, he's technically sound, he's technically savvy, and he's scrappy out there with it. He ain't going to take down. Like, McLaughlin going to fight for it. I feel like probably, to me, the main thing that went into this was probably Seth's weight and not having the physicality as far as pounds that Darian Dalcourt has. That's probably the only thing, in my opinion, that went into this. And Coach Saban and Eric Wolf are trying to give Dalcourt a chance to really, you know, take that spot back. I mean, also Dalcourt suffered from ankle injuries a season ago. So that would be probably the only two things I can see. Dalcourt having injuries last year with his ankle, and then number two, because of the fact that he has more weight than McLaughlin, I can see those two. But Dalcourt also knows the slightest issue or struggle from him, McLaughlin replaces him again. So at least he knows the pressure is on him.
But Steve, my thing is this. Dude held it down last year, man. And like I said, the weight I could understand. Well, it's like a Rottweiler versus a pit bull. Rottweiler might be bigger, But at the end of the day, Steve, that pit bull got that dog in him. He got that fight, and he gonna fight to the death. Seth showed what he can do against the league's best defense and the most dominant players up front. Like I said, it wasn't like this dude was playing against Rutgers and he was showing out. This man went against Cincinnati, Auburn, and Georgia and did more than hold his own. Like, when you look at that, people say, oh, it's about what you do in practice. Like, oh, you got to show the coaches in practice. But them real players, when them lights come on and they shining bright, they step up and take advantage of the opportunity. That's what Seth did. Seth stepped up when the lights was on. You know, he didn't need no warm-up. That dude came in the game and shined from the get-go, first snap. Nobody could take nothing away from him. He was the undersized man, but holding down big men. And I just feel like, you know, sometimes, especially young men like this, when they know what they did and they know the achievements and they overachieve, this is why I think sometimes these young men say, man, I ain't getting a fair chance here. Let me hit this portal. Because when you look at it, there's no reason why this young man shouldn't be starting. And if he's 20 pounds, 50 pounds underweight, but he can still do the job, I feel like in my heart, Steve, you got to give him the job. You know, no matter what his physical numbers are, how strong, how weak he might be, the man can still do the job. But, you know, I guess we'll see Saturday. Man, I hope this young man do get his just due and able to hit the field, man. But I was just shocked and blown away by this kid not being the starting center. But I appreciate you taking that call, Steve.
Appreciate a lot. You from Jersey calling in there. I mean, a lot of people were shocked by it. Because Seth McLaughlin did step up. Did not start the whole season until he comes off the bench cold in the Iron Bowl against Auburn, and he anchors an offensive line to have that game-tying drive at Jordan Hare, and then moved on to play extremely well against Georgia, extremely well against Cincinnati. So I get the frustration. I mean, I definitely get the frustration. We take this call here. You're live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Roll Tide, roll Stephen. Let's get this ball game going on Saturday night, fella.
Absolutely, William. Absolutely, my man. 3 days to Bama takes on Utah State. And for the first time since 2011, it will not be a neutral site game. We'll be right there in Tuscaloosa under the LED lights. And as fun as it is to play in Texas and to play at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, sometimes it's just more fun to just have your first game at home.
Yes, sir. I agree. Totally agree. I like them lights, too, that goes around that little ring up there. And I always get a kick out of watching that. And don't forget that the extra quarterback for Green Bay Packers came from Utah State. That's Jordan Love. And I wasn't too impressed with his preseason games. Did you get to watch any of that?
I did get a chance to watch Jordan Love a bit in the preseason. It sounds like the Packers trying to have a succession plan after Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I believe that's what it is. Where's old Uncle Charles tonight? I haven't heard from him in a while.
He should be coming soon. He should be coming soon, William. You know what? We may have him for Friday. He may be holding out to Friday.
That might be what it is. I always like to hear his stories anyway. Maybe we'll hear from Leonard Post-Toasties of Leonard's Losers, too. Maybe we'll hear from him Friday, too. Anyway, that's all I got to say. I won't tie you up too long. Roll Tide, brother.
Appreciate William from Iowa calling in right there to the show. We grabbed this call in Wednesday of game week. You're live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from. You're live on the show, caller. Go ahead.
Hey, Steve, this is Robert from Chicago. How are you?
Robert, what's happening? Doing good.
Hey, haven't been on the show in a while. Just trying to get focused. You know, the summer was kind of crazy. So, but it's football time now. Hey, I'm going to come at this from a different angle. You know, Alabama's going to have a great team this year, but the team I continue to benchmark them against is Georgia. And I know they don't play them on a regular season schedule, but here's my concerns, and I'd like to get your comments. When I look at Georgia, they clearly have the closest talent to Alabama. And what worries me in a head-to-head matchup with them, and I know we're, looking way ahead, but these are the areas of focus. Number one, the tight ends from Georgia, that trio of tight ends they have may be the best in the history of college football. And that's going to put tremendous pressure on those safeties and those star people like Branch and Malachi Moore and those linebackers to handle them. That's number one. Number two, even though they lost a lot of great defensive starters last year, they have some tremendous athletes, and it puts into question that offensive line. Can they hold up, particularly as they get into the second half of a football game? And particularly allowing, Bryce to have some time and Gibbs to have some room. And the third thing is the Alabama receivers. Will they step up and be able to adjust to the mistakes that they made coming down the stretch against Georgia last year? And so those are three areas I think we've all kind of identified as key, but Georgia is the benchmark, and I'm going to be really interested to see how they do against Oregon, because that's a really tough opponent for an opening game. They have a lot of offense. So anyway, I'd be curious as your thoughts on that potential scenario in terms of a benchmark. Thanks.
Appreciate Robert from Chicago at that call there. So Kirby Smart has put together a great staff at Georgia. He has. Got the Bulldogs its first national championship in 41 years that he did. Now, when you look at here, the tight ends for Georgia, led by Brock Bowers, they have some special guys at tight end. They've got guys that can catch the ball. They've got guys that can run routes. They've got guys with speed. They got guys that can block. Really, really good tight ends over there at Georgia. The main thing for Alabama is for the safeties, defensive backs, linebackers, you got to be able to hit those guys. Hit those guys, reroute those guys, and most importantly, get home with pressure to Stetson Bennett so that he doesn't have time to connect with those guys at tight end. But the big thing here with Georgia defensively is going to be, does the talent Georgia has, is it ready to step into a role that was held by Jordan Davis, a role that was held by Nakobe Dean, a role that was held by a Trayvon Walker or a Quay Walker? Like, these were just not no-name kitty-type players. Like, these were Georgia's aces on defense, right? Jordan Davis was a big deal. Whoever takes his spot, is that player ready to fill in those type of shoes? Whoever takes Nakobe Dean's spot, is he ready to fill those type of shoes and that type of an expectation? The same thing for Quay Walker, the same thing for Trayvon Walker. Kirby Smart is about to kind of see, for the first time, after losing that wave of talent to the NFL, can I reload with the same talent that knows that expectation and is ready to step into those shoes and perform that expectation the same way Coach Saban has been able to retool players every single year at Alabama under that same standard. So Kirby's gonna have a first taste of that this year. And in terms of the wide receivers for Alabama, I think these guys are ready to step up. Jermaine Burton's ready. Traeshon Holden, finally a starter. He's ready. You got a freshman in Kobe Prentice who's ready. You got Christian Leary, Tyler Harrell. They will be used interchangeably, but they're ready. I mean, once JoJo Earl comes back from a foot fracture in October, he'll be set to go. So I think this receiver room definitely ready to do some stuff right there. But appreciate Robert from Chicago with that call. We grabbed this call here. Well, we thought we had a call there, but I didn't have a call there. But appreciate you guys calling in. 205-448-1358. That's the number right there. 205-448-1358. Got some super chats to get to here. So how about Nona Davis, Bama girl out there in California with that $10 donation. Appreciate Nona there, showing us the love there. And then we got Daily Diesel with that $9.99 in the super chats. Appreciate the support there coming from Daily Diesel. We get to the call topic right here. It's really cool. So how about the popular food chain, fast food restaurant Crystal, not only known for the Crystal burgers, but they're known for getting some NIL partnerships with some Alabama players. 4 Bama guys have an NIL deal with Crystal, that being Will Anderson, who continues to rack up the NIL funds. Will Anderson, Henry To'o, Jordan Battle, and Brian Branch, those 4 individuals all have an NIL partnership with Crystal. Kudos to those 4 guys to continue to stretch their brand and getting that compensation, name, image, likeness, but not allowing the compensation to take away from the main thing, which is trying to put together a top 3 to top 5, maybe even the number 1 defense in college football across the board, and pushing for a national championship. But we go to a break right here, folks, on Touch That Down, because upon our return, we get into 2 of the big men on the defensive line. Tim Smith and Jamil Burroughs. Their time has come to be massively impactful in just wrecking opponents up front. We get to the big men right after this.
You know what we do at the start of the fourth quarter. We throw them foes up. But now you don't have to wait until the fourth quarter. Get your 4-finger bling necklace at weownthefourthquarter.com. It's the first and only logo that captures the essence of all Crimson Tide players and fans as we represent the legendary Alabama football fourth quarter dominance. Get your 4-finger bling necklace right now at weownthefourthquarter.com. Get yours today and stun on them haters. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide.
All right, folks, we're rocking and rolling back in here from the break. Hottest show on the streets, covering your Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. We are 3 days from the season opener. Saturday, Bryant-Denny, Bama, Utah State. The moment you've been waiting for. I am turned up to the maximum here for this one. Before we get into our next topic of conversation, had a thought there from Senator Hines in the chat talking about, will there be the game day chat, the watch party this season for TDA? Yes, we will have the watch party this season. There will be a game day chat. We'll start on Saturday, Bama, Utah State. So definitely want to check out the watch party with the guys, John Aubrey and Justin Smith. They're doing that thing there in the watch party. But we get into now Bama's defensive line, and in particular, 2 young men, 2 young players will have a chance to finally be all the way impactful the way they want to be. And U.S. fans have been waiting on these 2 young men for a minute now, that being Big Tim Smith and Jamil Burroughs. Y'all been waiting on 50 and 98 to get out there and wreck shop and destroy offenses. So y'all been waiting on these 2. Their time has officially come. According to Coach Saban, SEC coaches teleconference today, both guys extremely well in fall camp. Tim Smith had a phenomenal fall camp, really played well. Jamil Burroughs, great spring, and followed it up with a strong fall camp. And for Tim Smith, starting as a defensive end this season. Now, I know when he first came in, 5-star in the 2021 class from Florida at 6'4", 300-plus pounds, a lot of us thought he would be the next monster nose tackle. We all kind of thought he would be the next elite defensive tackle because of how big he is, how strong he is, the wingspan, just a mammoth of an athlete. We all thought he would be the next nose tackle. But for him to be pushed out to defensive end and playing opposite Byron Young, this is going to be fun. this is going to be real fun because him at defensive end, this is going to show his edge bending, his quickness, his explosiveness on the snap of the ball, his hand strike, his pass rush moves. This is going to show a lot here at 300 pounds plus of what Tim Smith can be athletically on the edge. This is going to be real fun to watch Tim Smith because as a freshman in 2020, he made some plays and assisted Alabama to undefeated national championship season. And then this past year, we didn't see much of Tim Smith. We wonder, what's going on with Tim? Is he falling on the depth chart? Is something happening? Has something gone wrong? And now he has resurfaced as a starter, defensive end. So really looking forward to watching him against Utah State. The quickness upon the snap of the ball, how quickly could he get to the quarterback, get him some sacks, and start that early confidence opposite Byron Young this season. When I look at Jamil Burroughs, it's his year. He's excited about this year. He's the backup behind Tim Smith at defensive end, but going back to spring, had a really good A-Day game. Got a sack in the spring game. Had a really strong fall camp. According to Will Anderson, Burroughs, a really good interior pass rusher. Had a very good offseason. He's ready to pop this year. I'm excited to watch him out there on the field. And I think the main thing Coach Saban wants from both of these two, consistency in gap assignment, consistency in doing your job well, most importantly, when you're called to rush the quarterback, consistently get home. I think those are the three things Saban wants from these two. Consistently, your gap assignment, hit your gap, read your gap, follow your keys. Number two, consistently, do what you're being required to do out there on that line. And then number three, when it's time to hit home on the quarterback, hit home on the quarterback. So Saban excited to watch both of these two. The defensive line, you're back 8 to 9 deep in a rotation where there's a lot of competition and there's expected to be no drop-off when you look at this front line. But to see Tim Smith and Jamil Burroughs get this opportunity, it's huge because both came in as highly touted defensive linemen in the 2020 class. Tim Smith came in as the 5-star, Burroughs came in as the 4-star, but both of these guys played as freshmen and were highly impactful. And now they have a chance as third-year guys to really do some stuff. The fact that they both passed up Justin Boygby. I mean, this is just Nick Saban saying, all young guys, if you snatch at it hard enough, I'm going to give you a shot at it. I mean, that's what we saw from this depth chart that came out. Even though it's subject to change, even though it's subject to be altered some, the initial week 1 depth chart showed you Nick Saban's telling these young cats, hey, if you snatch it hard enough, and I see you snatch it hard enough, I'm going to honor your effort. I'm going to honor your work. We're seeing this with Jaheim Otis. We're seeing this with Tim Smith and Justin Boygby. We're seeing this with Kobe Prentice. If you snatch that thing hard enough, I'm going to honor your effort. Nick Saban is honoring some efforts here of some young guys. So it's going to be fun to watch Tim Smith and Jamil Burroughs' first game out the gate. How consistent will they be? How consistent will they play? We take another break here, folks. Don't touch that dial because when we get back, we return to you, the Bama Nation. We're getting your phone calls, your thoughts, your dialogue. 3 days to your Crimson Tide hit that field to open the 2022 campaign. We hear from you right after this.
Don't touch that dial. Call in right now as we're taking your calls up next on In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith. Brought to you by We Own the Fourth Quarter. Visit weownthefourthquarter.com now to get your 4-finger bling necklace. sports fan deserves the proper representation. Whitwell Sports introduces to you the Title Towel. Wave that Title Towel in the air like you just don't care in support of Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Only $9.99 and it lasts a lifetime. Head on over to whitwellsports.com and get your Title Towel today. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is Marvin Constant, All-SEC linebacker and 1999 SEC champion. You are listening to In My Own Words, brought to you by Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Roll Tide.
All right, folks, we're back in here from the break to the action. Wednesday, hump day, hottest show on the streets, covering Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. We return to the phone lines to grab your calls. The call segment brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang, 205-448-1358. Number to call in, 205-448-1358. And after making his appearance already on the show, it seems like my man Coach Smoke wants a little bit more. We bring him in. Coach Smoke, my man, Senator Hines. How you feeling back, baby?
Man, I don't want to talk this time now. I want to ask two questions. Two questions for you, man. You the man of the hour. I want you to answer two questions for me. Hypotheticals, of course.
Okay, let's go.
All right, first question. Defensive front coming in. Who has the biggest impact through the first quarter of the season and solidifies himself as a part of the three? I say we usually go like 5-man rotation defensive front. Who do you see as the top 5 defensive linemen through the first 3 weeks of this campaign, this football season? That's my first question.
All right, so top 5 defensive linemen. Give me Byron Young. Give me Tim Smith. Give me Jamil Burrows. Give me Jaheim Otis. And one more. I guess I'll throw DJ Dale the last one.
I thought you were going to. I think we're sleeping on Keenan. Tim Keenan. I think we're sleeping on this guy. I don't think DJ Dale's going to. Steven, I love DJ Dale. I was proud of his freshman year. But the fire that these guys, I think Tim Keenan could have pushed for a lot more playing time last year if he didn't start off the season hurt early.
And he's dropped a lot of weight too. I mean, he's improved too.
Exactly, Stephen. And Dale, I just don't see that fire in him. He's a great leader, great person, great young man. But I haven't seen that tenacity in him at all last season. Not at all. He made one hit in was that the Tennessee game? I think that was the Tennessee game where he could have stopped the guy short for the first down in that drive. And he didn't. His hit didn't stop the guy, but then Tim Smith came in on the goal line and stuffed the hole. 2 people on him, and he still stuffed the running back. That was also
Tim Smith that caused the fumble against Ole Miss.
Exactly, Steven. So I'm right there with you with the top 4, but number 5, I'm gonna have to replace Dale with Keenan. And then secondly, my second question: the top. If your dream 4 wide receiver set for this offense with the wide receivers we have going into week 1 that's available, not counting JoJo Earl, even though he's injured, your dream 4 wide set for this offense with Bryce Young at the Q, Jameer at the running back or Jace, who's your 4 and where you placing them?
All right, so I've had to go to 4 receiver set here. Give me Burton at X. Give me Traeshon Holden at Z. Give me Kobe Prentice in one of the slots. And then the fourth guy, as much as I do like Harrell, give me Leary. Give me Christian Leary as the other slot.
Matt Stevens, we thinking too much alike now. You're doing it again. I believe, and I believe this is probably the reason, Leary, I think the play that showed me that Leary had the real speed and the ability to beat any inside defender. You could put a nickel corner on them, a safety or linebacker. Leary is going to beat them if you're in one-on-one. Reason being, that Georgia game in the SEC Championship, when Mechie caught that fade pass, and I don't know if you noticed, but Leary could have burnt his player. Like, he made the right read. He beat his man off the line. And that play, you see they check to the quick read, which is why Mechie got the jump ball on the face. But Leary had his man beat. He almost ran into Mechie play because he thought the ball was for him. That's how bad he beat his man. That's why when Mechie caught the ball, it looked like such a touch catch because Leary had beat his man. If Bryce wanted to, he could have threw that junk down the seam, and Leary would have been scored a touchdown on that. Straight. So I love that, man, that Leary and Prentice. I've seen Prentice in person, and when I say the boy is quick and shifty, and his catch radius for his height is so different than what you've ever seen. Even Jermaine Burton. Jermaine Burton got a crazy catch radius. I think we're sleeping on Jermaine Burton because of where he's coming from, and Stetson didn't give him a lot of opportunities. But Jermaine Burton is going to be a problem. If we could slide Burton into the slot sometimes to get that mismatch on a young safety, a young free safety, or a young nickel corner walking down, I see some crazy magic happen. But Steven, you were right on point with my mindset. Everything but DJ Dale. Unless you show me something week 2 against Texas, Steven, I see Keenan, I see Burrows, I see Young, I see Otis, I see Smith. I mean, those guys are the ones that's in front of my head, and I can see just being that solid five-man rotation. DJ Dale and Boise gonna be solid. I just don't think they need a lot of reps. Give them fewer reps so when they're out there, they can shine. But that's all I got, Steven, and appreciate you for exploring them thoughts with me, brother.
Appreciate my man Senator Hines calling back in. Some good conversation with Coach Smook right there. We take this call here. You're live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, what's going on, Steven? This is Ruben from Ohio, man.
Ruben, what's happening?
Hey, nothing too much, man. I'll just gonna let you know. I check up on your page. The Touchdown Alabama YouTube page every day. I try to see everything what's going on. And I was watching the podcast yesterday that you usually have. I forget what you call it, what the name goes by, but and one of the gentlemen on there, I can't remember his name either on there, and he made a statement saying that he's not sold on Jahmyr Gibbs. And I'm like, what? And I get it. He's never been in the Alabama uniform yet. He hasn't played SEC competition every week. But if we're going off of what we have, which is those Georgia Tech highlights from the last 2 years, I mean, how can he say that? I mean, did he even go ahead?
Well, that guy Ruben, that's comedian Steve Brown. So that's comedian Steve Brown. And I guess for him, he wants to see Gibbs show it at Alabama. To me, Jahmyr Gibbs is the real deal because I watched him all throughout Georgia Tech. And this is a guy that, to me, we haven't seen this type of speed and acceleration just go from a running back since Kenyon Drake. I mean, this is the first type of big speed Alabama has had since Drake, and Gibbs might have a bit more speed than Drake, and that's scary in itself when you look at how he cuts, how fast his feet are, how explosive he is. He does need a big hole. You give Gibbs the inkling slither of a crease, that kid's gone. I mean, you go back to the A-Day game, the hole wasn't even that big. It was just a small wrinkle, and he hit it and was gone 75 yards.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, this is a guy that can give you that in between the tackles. You see what he is as a receiver, pass catcher, and not to mention you put this kid on kickoff return. I mean, the insanity, the type of production Gibbs can provide.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. You know, like you said, you know, the guy's comedian. He may have been trolling, which is perfectly explainable. You know, but as I'm looking at Jahmyr Gibbs, I mean, you know, I think he's going to be the most impactful transfer in all of college football this season. I mean, to me, I'm not saying he's on his level. I'm not saying he's totally like him, but he's giving me Alvin Kamara vibes. I mean, I heard you say before, you know, you're looking at possible him and Chase McKellen, you know what I'm saying, doing something where you may see either one of the two guys is going to at least have 1,000 yards, maybe 500 receiving yards, you know, for this year. So, Jahmyr Gibbs, I may speak too soon, but he's like you said, he's the real deal. And I'm very excited to see him. And also, I want to hear your opinion on the cornerback situation. Are you surprised that Eli Ricks isn't starting? Give me your opinion on that.
I'm not going to say that I'm surprised, just due to he did come over from LSU. Ricks did with a shoulder injury, and he only played 6 games in 2021. So he comes over from LSU. He's got the shoulder thing. He had a slight back issue, so he missed some time in practice and fall camp. So it's not surprising that he's not starting. He's still in the competition, but it's not a surprise that he's not starting. What's the surprise is the surge of Terrion Arnold, and he has put his nose in here as a starter. That's a surprise, because a lot of people thought it would be, okay, if not Eli Ricks, and at least Kool-Aid McKinstry, Kyrie Jackson. Terrion Arnold goes, oh, no. I'm jumping my butt in here. So the fact that it's Kool-Aid and Terrion, that's the surprise that Terrion Arnold's jumped in here. But appreciate that thought right there, that call from my man Ruben from Ohio. We take this call here. You're live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Steve, what's up with you, man? This is Jay from Sheffield.
There he is, that man that know about them coordinators. Get right, coordinators. Let's go.
Well, you know, I'm glad you said that, because I'm so disappointed in the media, man. Y'all so nice on old Bill O'Brien, man. And now we done got you a whole new weapon. So, man, let's see what you're going to do with this, man. We shouldn't be hearing no, they threw the ball 4-5 times straight on the goal line. We shouldn't hear nothing like that this year, right, Steve?
We shouldn't hear it, Jay. We should not hear it.
We should see it. We should see a wheel right out the backfield to Jace and to Gibbs, right? We should see some of this creativity with an angle route when he get mismatched on the linebacker. Some of that, right?
We should see it, Jay. You right.
Okay, now I'm gonna get off of Bill, because we all know Bill ain't really all that cracked up. But we got to get on this the D-line, man. Y'all, that tell a whole lot about what we got, because we done let Jaheim Otis come in here and he come on, Byron Young. What is all this? I'm kind of confused, Steve, because our D-line, I'm like, we got a bunch of seniors and stuff, but man, a freshman about to start. Like, what is y'all boys not doing, man? Y'all can't get no kind of push. Have you heard
Jay,
anything good other than Oaks about the D-line?
Now, Byron Young is starting at the other DN. Tim Smith is DN also, but it's Coach Saban's looking at these guys going, hey, young guys, if y'all want it, show me y'all want it. And these young guys are showing Saban, hey, we want it now.
Steve, what you gonna call this season? Because I'm gonna say we need to name this season putting the stank back on it. Because we need to put that funk back on things to make folks respect us again. You feel me? Because people don't feel Bama like they used to, Steve. So we got to put that stank back on this thing. You feel me? Go on, come out here and let Will Anderson and Dallas Turner, let them boys tee off on third down. I don't even want to see them in the game on first and second down against Utah State. Somebody else show me they can stop the run. I'm going to let these dogs here tee off, man. I'm talking crazy video game numbers and stuff, but we should see something amazing. Sack monster on both sides. We hopefully Toto, he can hit somebody, and Moody, y'all the middle linebackers, guys. We need to see that Bama pain come back to life, man. Y'all our linebackers. First play, On defense, we need to just see y'all go smash a 300-pounder in the mouth. I don't care if it ain't the play. You're supposed to be dropping in coverage. Bust him in his mouth so we'll know. Bama ain't playing around. So I had to catch myself, Steve. But, I love y'all, man. Roll Tide. Hopefully we see some intensity out of our guys on this first game. Hopefully they ain't looking over these guys. But Roll Tide, man. And Bill need to get his act together. I'm starting the petition now. Fire Bill. I'm signature 1, Jay.
Got my man Jay from Sheffield calling. You know Jay ready. You know Jay ready for Bama football. He coming in here hot on a Wednesday. Hottest show on the streets, covering your Crimson Tide. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen M. Smith, 205-448-1358. But I'm going to call in to let your voice be made known, 205-448-1358. But we got another call topic right here. So how about Bama in the NFL? A lot of these Bama players, Bama alums on the move as the NFL season kicks off here on Saturday, September the 8th. We got NFL teams finalizing the 53-man rosters, making cuts, making additions, putting guys here on the practice squad. So let's run through this. Kenyon Drizzy Drake let go by the Las Vegas Raiders. He's been picked up now by the Baltimore Ravens. So the Ravens have Kenyon Drake. Alex Leatherwood was recently released by the Raiders, was taken in the first round of a 2021 NFL draft, but the Chicago Bears have claimed Leatherwood off waivers. As we look at Tony Brown has made the 53-man roster for the Indianapolis Colts. Josh Jobe has made the 53-man roster for the Philadelphia Eagles. So big things there for Josh Jobe. Just several guys here making these rosters here for these NFL teams. Had to name a few there for you right there. So a couple of these Bama alums, whether they are being released from teams and making other teams or making the 53-man roster for their respective teams, a few of those Bama guys on the move. O.J. Howard, who was released by the Buffalo Bills, he's visiting the Cincinnati Bengals today. If the visit goes well in Cincy for O.J., he will sign with the AFC North team. So just giving you a little rundown there of a few of these, former Bama guys, Bama alums, making moves here in terms of the NFL, in terms of these NFL moves here prior to the start of the regular season. But we take our final break here on the show. Don't touch that dial, because upon our return, we get into Traeshon Holden and Jermaine Burton. The DB assassins are ready to take off. And how much production could the California trio of Bryce Young, Traeshon Holden, and Jermaine Burton really do this season? We'll tidy up loose ends with that after this.
If you're an avid Alabama Crimson Tide fan and you love to flaunt it, then show your Alabama Crimson Tide support by grabbing the All-Bama sneakers. They feature bold Crimson Tide graphics, so no one will be able to question where your allegiance lies. When you add these sweet sneakers to your Alabama Crimson Tide collection, go to STSFootwear.com and use the code TDAlabama for $15 off your purchase. That's code TDAlabama for $15 off your purchase. Go to STSFootwear.com and get your All-Bama sneakers today. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide. Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
All right, people, we're back into the action here, folks. From the break, hottest show on the streets, covering your Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA, on a Wednesday. 3 days until your Crimson Tide takes on Utah State to open up the season. Before we get to the final topic of conversation, I got another update here on a Bama alum in terms of the NFL moves here. Miller Forrestall former Crimson Tide tight end, has re-signed with the Cleveland Browns, part of their practice squad. Miller Forrestall back with the Cleveland Browns. But also, you got to check out tdaware.com. That is tdaware.com. So for your swagger, saw, strip, clothing, cultural, fashion needs here, check out tdaware.com. Link in the description. tdaware.com. Get yourself set up right now to cheer on your Crimson Tide, rocking that gear, going for that Bama. Check us out right now, tdaware.com. Get your shopping done right there. Continue showing that support for Coach Saban, the University of Alabama, the student athletes, and us here at Touchdown Alabama Magazine. But now we look at the DB assassins, Traeshon Holden and Jermaine Burton. They formed a special alliance during their final years of prep school in California. And that alliance that they formed with some friends called the DB Assassins. And the group was created because, these guys were just tearing up defensive backs on the field, whether it was 7-on-7 camps, 11-on-11 camps, or just in these high school games on Friday nights. These young men were just tearing defensive backs apart. And one half of the DB Assassins group, Jermaine Burton, he started off his career at the University of Georgia, played there his first 2 seasons, and Burton caught 53 passes for 901 yards and 8 touchdowns during his tenure there, with the Bulldogs, winning a national championship this past season. Was welcomed in with open arms to the University of Alabama program. He wants to win with this team. He wants to win with these guys. And then you have Traeshon Holden, who came to Alabama straight up in the 2020 class as a 4-star receiver. But the two assassins together starting for this Alabama team, and they're ready to do some work. They're ready to do some damage here this season, the defensive secondaries. Starting this thing off, though, with Traeshon Holden, finally a starter. Finally, his time has come. U.S. Bama fans have been waiting for Traeshon. 6'3", good athlete, strong athlete. He's got the routes, the hands, body structure. We've been waiting on Traeshon Holden. When he first got here, fell victim to that. I'm the tallest player, I'm the fastest player, I'm the biggest player in high school. So that's going to carry over to college at Alabama. Did not happen that way at first, so it took Holden a while to get everything in order. But now, leader in that wide receiver room, had 5 catches in the final scrimmage, including 3 for touchdowns. Now he knows what to do. Now he knows how to play. Now he knows what is expected of him. Starting at the bottom of that formation at Z. He's ready to pop off and have a good year. And then you look at Jermaine Burton here. Burton coming over from Georgia, dominated in spring ball. Nick Saban called him the most consistent receiver in the room and of the group. He's got more speed, a bit more speed than John Mechie had a season ago for Alabama. I can see a scenario where you put Jermaine Burton both inside and outside because he can kind of play in that Calvin Ridley, Mechie-esque of a role. I can see that happening there. For Burton, guy's got strong hands, really good routes. He's got speed, got size at 6'2", 200 pounds. So both of these two bring a lot to the table. But when you throw in Bryce Young as their quarterback, this is where the fun's going to happen, right? Because we're going to get a chance to see how much production, how many receptions, receiving yards, touchdowns will Holden and Burton get each coming from Young. Because Young's going to want to spray the ball around, let everybody eat, let everybody have some sugar, if you will. So how many receptions will Traeshon Holden get? How many receiving yards and receiving touchdowns will Holden have? How many catches will Jermaine Burton get? How many receiving yards and touchdowns will he have? As he's coming from sort of a game manager in Stetson Bennett to a let it rip, let it fly elite Heisman-winning quarterback in Bryce Young. It's going to be fun to watch. These two DB assassins rip through secondaries. Bryce Young having the time in the pocket from a much improved offensive line to rip that ball and allow his two Cali friends to have some fun out there on the field. This is going to be interesting. This is going to be very intriguing and something that I will have my eye on from Saturday against Utah State throughout the entire season. But folks, if you want the best in news, notes, information, entertainment on Bama, you know where to find that. You go to you can access that, the Touchdown Alabama magazine app. You download the app from the iPhone App Store if you're rocking Team Apple, Google Play Store if you got the Android phone. Now, for your audio needs, check us out, iTunes or Apple Podcast, Spotify, Stitcher, Spreaker, TuneIn Radio, Overcast.fm, or iHeartRadio, Google Play. We got you covered. If the good and gracious Lord sees fit, I'll be back on Friday continuing the conversation. There's Tide football. Remember, Bama fans, you can do this now. You can purchase individual copies of Touchdown Alabama magazine, have those sent to your door. That link found in the description. If you're trying to get the fresh edition, print edition of TDA the magazine, you go to touchdownalabama.com. You click join, become a member or a subscriber today. That link in the description. And if you're trying to get your hands on the 4-finger bling necklace, 4-finger bling jewelry, courtesy of our guys that we own, thefourthquarter.com, that link in the description as well. Well, we got to shout out you, the outstanding Bama fans, for all your calls, donations, conversations you make in this show, your network, platform, channel, and space to talk Bama. Got to appreciate my two outstanding producers, John Ivory and Eli Walker, doing their thing in the other room, making this show what it is and keeping me in line. But as always, folks, husbands, love your wives. Wives appreciate, value those husbands. Children, you guys continue doing the right thing, fun thing, smart thing, good thing, legitimate thing to not be bored and get that homework done, school in session. Continue getting you those 3 hearty meals a day, those 3 great laughs a day. You protect yourself. You protect the loved ones around you. We got 3 days until Bama football kicks off. And I'm pumped up right now. Until next time, folks, I'm your man, Stephen M. Smith, and you've been listening to In My Own Words.